Welcome to the Prepare programme, Prepare for Parole and Reentry. Our organisation was launched in June 2021. It grew out of the work of Mary Jo Davis and her organisation, Second Chance for Women. It also grew out of work that women in MCIW were already doing to help themselves and to help others prepare for parole hearings. Our mission is to empower people to make their best case for parole. We do this by providing information about, materials for, and support with parole hearing preparation. We are working in person in the Maryland Correctional Institution for Women, but the long-term aim is that everyone in Maryland should be able to access support with parole hearing preparation. We believe that parole hearing preparation is a positive thing, not just for people and their families who are seeking early release, but for society more generally. There's 3 reasons for this. Firstly, it means there's better information available to parole decision makers about the person who comes before them, including a deeper understanding of their life story. Secondly, it ensures that there's better information available to the people themselves about the parole system and how they can make themselves into good candidates for early release. And thirdly, it ensures that people go to parole hearings with a solid re-entry plan which is tailored to their needs. We think those things lead to more success at parole hearings and more success upon re-entry. When a returning citizen succeeds, everyone wins.
The most important element in parole hearing preparation is the development of a parole packet. Some of the key elements in a parole packet are a life story, a remorse statement, and a re-entry plan. At a trial, the focus is on a small snapshot in time. At a parole hearing, the camera pans out and a person's past, present, and future all become relevant. It's almost always the case that when you understand a person's whole story, the events which led to their incarceration are more understandable. It's not about excusing wrongdoing. It is about explaining, though. At Prepare, we help people write their life stories to include within the parole packet that they present to the Parole Commission, so they can be judged as the rounded human being they are, not just by reference to the crimes they committed.
Telling my life story to parole was very important so they can know who I was and not going by what my crime was.
Parole preparation really helps you get things in order, it helps you get organized, it really helps you reflect from the past to the present and everything you've worked on over the years. Like, I was incarcerated for about 7.5 years. So it really helped me reflect everything I've accomplished while being there and trying to actually get it organized in the most simple form.
Because a lot of people's life story, it may not be the reason why, but it definitely plays a part in your crime. You know, it plays a part in your mentality, you know, mentally, emotionally, and sometimes even physically. So, you know, your life story has a lot to do with your crime sometimes, most of the time.
I really had a good parole experience. I had a dynamite parole hearing lady, and she gave me time to tell my story. And I told my story. I was nervous and scared in the beginning, but she made me feel so comfortable that when I told my story, it didn't take but 5 minutes and I made parole.
One thing the Parole Commission is looking to see is that the person before them has taken responsibility for the crime. This can be tricky because so often people who are in prison have dealt with many challenges in their own lives, challenges such as addiction, poverty, abuse, and discrimination. They've committed wrongs, but they have also been wronged, both by other people and by poorly thought out policies and far from perfect institutions. Nevertheless, in general, there isn't a better plan than owning responsibility for the past in order to go on and plan for a better future. At Prepare, we help people write their remorse statements so the Parole Commission knows they've accepted responsibility for the events which brought them into prison.
Yes, I think that's very important for you to show remorse. And even if you are the victim, even if you've been victimized, you still need to tell your story and show remorse. Because if you don't show remorse, that shows a different picture that you really didn't care what would happen.
I think that it is crucial for someone to take accountability and express that to the Parole Commission. Everybody has mitigating, circumstances or, tragedy in their life that leads to certain things. But if you can't take responsibility for your own actions and how you responded to those situations, you're just going to continue to have problems in life, down the road. And I think that's the lesson that they want to teach.
Parole is, by definition, early release. The Parole Commission is taking a chance on someone when it gives them early release. If that someone goes on to reoffend, the Parole Commissioners get criticised for making a bad decision and have to deal with the fact that their decision has led to a bad outcome. The reality is the Parole Commission doesn't have a crystal ball, so they can't know for sure who's going to reoffend. However, it is possible for a person to demonstrate to the Parole Commission that they have done their best to prepare for a successful re-entry. At Prepare, we help people develop strong re-entry plans by connecting them with suitable re-entry services, which will reduce their chances of returning to prison.
If I was in charge of reforming the Maryland parole system, I would definitely focus on the preparation group to help people who have no idea what's going on or how it works, so they can get organized and focused into getting their packets together so they have a chance to actually make parole. Because I feel as though parole commissioners, if they don't see a parole packet, or they might feel as though you're just winging it and that you don't really care and that you just think it's guaranteed. It gives parole commissioners a better look at each individual so they can't just make a judgment based on your charge.
I would advise somebody that has an upcoming parole hearing to reach out to Prepare, let them know that they want and need assistance, and get that process started, because for me, when I did that, that then helped give me a timeline to work towards individual goals for completing my packet. And then the last piece is, really just preparing yourself mentally, which is crucial, because how you present yourself and advocate for yourself once you get in there with them makes a big difference. I don't believe that their mind is already made up, when they see somebody. And I think you have a chance if you're going to advocate for yourself.
I was warden of MCIW from 2004 through 2009. I think that parole preparation work that was introduced to MCIW was important work because it helped to prepare the women to know how they could better themselves, put themselves in better positions for when they met with the Parole Commission for consideration to be placed on parole. A good candidate for parole looks like someone who has used their time being incarcerated to reflect on becoming the best person that they could be, someone who has taken advantage of all of the programmatic opportunities and educational opportunities that were afforded to them, the job opportunities that they could participate in, and just becoming the best person that they could be.
The question then pertains to whether or not it's helpful for someone coming before the Parole Commission to have prepared. There are organizations of which I am aware that are in a perfect position to help inmates prepare for the outside. You can't be expected, I mean, I've sat and heard dozens of applications for parole release. I'd say generally they're amateur. We don't really grade on the professionalism of your parole presentation. But to my way of thinking, and my background is as a lawyer for 7 years in the state of Maryland, it never hurts to be prepared. It never hurts to be really prepared. And so I think that the role of outside organizations such as Prepare, Second Chance, programs that are in our law schools here in Baltimore and in the state of Maryland are key to helping these individuals who are behind bars improve their chances. We're trying to address 2 parole commissioners who don't know you from Adam. They've read the parole file. The parole file is all bad stuff. So we've read it. We'd like to hear some good stuff. And the presentation is presented to us in a thoughtful, well laid out fashion, supported by plans that have grounding in fact and not in aspirations and hopes and wishes, then I think your chances are going to improve for a parole release. I've seen many of these cases, dozens of them, and I can tell you there's a big difference between those that have received professional assistance and those that are kind of winging it. No reflection poorly on those who are winging it, but you'd be ever so much improve your chances with some professional help.
We are a Maryland-based nonprofit. Our mission is to empower people to make their best case for parole. We do this by providing information about, materials for, and support with parole hearing preparation. We believe that parole hearing preparation is a positive thing, not just for people who are seeking early release and their families, but for society more generally. The reasons are, firstly, that it means that there is better information available to the decision makers deciding whether to grant them parole. That information includes a deeper understanding of their life story. Secondly, there's better information available to people themselves about the parole system and what they can do to make themselves good candidates for early release. And thirdly, it ensures that people go to their parole hearings with a solid re-entry plan, one that is tailored to their specific needs. We believe that these things lead to more success at parole hearings and more success on re-entry. Whenever a returning citizen succeeds, everyone wins.